Hi! So you have the diagnosis of complex PTSD. If that's true, you're in the right place. I'm going to talk to you about all the different skills that you have and all the different ways that being with me in a short while, free, can be helpful, because I do understand. Please think about it. Post-traumatic stress disorder. Complex means it went on for a long time. It wasn't just a short experience. Complex PTSD diagnosis means you've really had a tough time. It's probably a childhood thing. Most likely it's childhood. And of course, it also happens with partners. Could be marriage partners or other partners. It can even be friends and bosses, but that's real unusual. Mostly it's child or in a close, constant home situation. And that's what we're going to talk about, what kind of skills you developed. If you think people call them deterrence or problems or anything else, you're wrong. You were a bright little kid who learned how to adapt to the situation you were in, because the situation is terrible, regardless, whether it's an alcoholic parent or two alcoholic parents, drug parents, parents who are using drugs, parents who just maybe they wanted a different. It was my situation. They wanted a different gender, and that can happen. That can be a big deal, especially in some of the places where there's some restriction on how many kids you can have and that sort of thing. Maybe it was the faith that your parents shared or had. One of them had or the other had. There can be so many reasons that there is abuse on the child. It can be that one parent's gone all the time, or there's one that's separated and they are divorced or whatever, and it's a single parent situation. There are so many things that make you develop specific skills to get through it. You had to get through it. You had to figure out how to do it, because you knew if you ran outdoors, nobody's going to feed you. Where are you going to sleep? Now, some of you have done that. I know that's true. I know that some of you have been homeless, and it's a tough go, because other people want to take advantage of you too, not just your parents or your caregivers or your relatives or whoever's taking care of you, whoever has put you in a home situation. Okay. One of the things you might become is a people pleaser. That means you're just a workaholic. You'll just do anything to please people. You go around taking care of this, taking care of that, always being ready to help someone with whatever they've got going on, and making sure that you're always humble and agreeable, and you're looking really hard for triggers. You've found out what triggers somebody to start attacking you. That's something you're going to learn in a pretty early age. Not immediately, but you're going to learn at a pretty early age how to recognize a trigger and know that if you use that trigger, you're going to be in big trouble. And that's really sad. That whole thing of you've got to develop. You should have developed. If you didn't, we're really got some work to do. You should have developed some self-praise. In other words, self-love, self-direction, self-kindness, self-understanding. You should have been able to figure out over a period of time that your friends were not in the same situation. Your friends didn't have an alcoholic parent, or didn't have a parent who used drugs, or didn't have a parent who was major mental situation. You can have parents with mental diseases, that schizophrenic, narcissistic. There's so many things that can gaslight you and help you believe that you're the problem and they're not the problem. I mean, there's so many ways that you can be manipulated into thinking that you're the cause and you're the. In fact, there's been many experts say that in the event of being an abused child, you don't hate your parents, you hate yourself. And that's the problem. At some point, your skill had to be, wait a minute, I'm doing good in school. Wait a minute, I've got friends. Wait a minute, I can play football. Wait a minute, I'm pretty good at jump rope. Whatever it is, you figured out, hey, something's wrong here. I'm pretty good at certain things, and I'm pretty agreeable, and I'm a workaholic, and I'm a people pleaser, and why are they doing this to me? That's the question. Why? Why isn't about you. You just happen to be the doormat. You're the dog that runs up to the door when the people come home because it really needs to go outside, and yet the people think that the dog is there to get praise from them, and oftentimes they kick the dog, just like they kick the kid. Okay, so you have developed a skill to like yourself enough that you've gotten through on the planet. One of the other things you've probably been is hyper-vigilant. That means you're always ready to recognize that, oops, here comes a trigger. Here comes a belt. Here comes my mother used yardsticks and paddles, those paddles with rubber balls on them. She just loved those paddles. She'd buy those paddles, she'd give them to me, and she'd say, hurry up and break the ball so I could use it on you. She also, every time, we were in the military, so she was always having to pick a house out to stay in. And she'd always check the switches to make sure that the bushes, if she took the leaves off, that they were good switches. They would sting like crazy. She liked to hit me on my legs because the switches would give you that hard sting, and they didn't make as many bruises, so she didn't have to keep me home from school as often if there weren't as many bruises. So those are things you want to watch out for. When she's checking the switches, run. Hide somewhere, go wherever you can. One of the other things that you might have developed is recognizing the mood in whoever's around you, and recognizing that sometime whoever's around your folks are going to trigger them. Like maybe if they're a drug user and they're getting all those stuff out for heroin or cocaine or whatever they're shooting up. You've recognized the mood. You've recognized that you have a skill to be able to excuse yourself and go someplace else, someplace hopefully that's a lot safer. That's so incredibly important that you've learned the skill to really analyze adult behavior, really have a handle on when they're going to target you and when they're not, and when you're safe to be in the house and when you've really got to find someplace else to go, even if it's just a closet. I mean, or a basement. I mean, it's so great if you have some options like that, a closet that's big enough to hide in. I mean, here in Ecuador, where I live, we don't have closets. So what we have instead is just a rod hanging down from a chain or some kind of rope. So you can't really hide there. And the beds are so low, we can't hide under the bed. So it's really a tough thing. You've got to find a place you can go. You might be able to have a trusted neighbor. Oh boy, if you've got somebody you can trust, maybe a grandparent or an aunt or an uncle or somebody who understands and already knows what's going on and is willing and wanting to protect you, that's a real godsend. But you may not have that. I know I didn't. My folks were in the military, so I never was around relatives. So one of the skills you probably developed was a skill to be able to recognize a trusting adult, some adult that you could trust, who would not rat you out to your folks, because you don't want somebody saying, oh, well, Jackie said, that's not going to do you any good, because then you've let the cat out of the bag. And this is one of those, and I'm sure you've developed this skill, this is one of those things where you want to keep it in the family. You want to keep quiet about it. You don't want people to know what the heck is going on unless you have a principal you can trust, unless you have some real bruises that are very obvious and people could see them right away and know that that's not from having slipped in the back porch or something, that they're really obvious that you've been beaten. That can be a real help, because in that case, they could come in and do something to help you. But you also have to recognize it may put you in foster care, and that could be worse. It could be fabulous, and it could be worse. So these are decisions that you have to make because you've developed these skills. You know what you know. You know what you can do, and the more you test what you can do, the better. The more you have an opportunity to find out for yourself, hey, if I do this, does this trigger them? Or if I do that, does that calm them down? Or if I clean out the closet, or if I arrange the kitchen, or if I wipe the counters really well, or if I keep the table set just right, will that calm them down? Or if I pour them a drink, or whatever it is, you're going to know at some point what's going to calm them down, and that's really, really, really important. Now, I'm going to also I'll give you the opportunity to share with me. I have a school, SKOOL. It's an online school with 4 Zoom meetings a week. 3 are during the week and 1 is on the weekend. And they're free. Everything's free. The registration's free, all of that. I'm going to leave that information for you at the end of this video. So if you want to check it out, you can come for free. Just come register, and we can talk about this. We can talk about it, and we can talk with other folks. If other folks show up with the same problem, fine. If not, it's just you and me. So whoever comes is who I talk to about whatever they need to talk about. I've been a counselor for about 40 years, so I have a lot of experience in this, and this is my calling. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is why I'm still on the planet. So if you'd like to be a part of it, come join me. It's going to be at the end of the video. Thank you.